there, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time introverted managers and helping them to become effective leaders. So today what I wanted to do is to talk about impact, because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what you're striving for, right? I know so many of you watching this channel right now that your goal is to feel confident in what you're doing and that you want to be seen as competent and effective, and that you want to be well respected in your role by your peers, by your team members, as well as by your direct manager, right? Which to me kind of all boils down to impact. But at the same time, I also know, having talked to so many of you, that you're feeling less and less energized about making an impact, right? I know that a lot of you are kind of at that point where you're like, maybe I'm not really making an impact in this role. And before you give up, I want to talk to you about what worked for me, because maybe it might help you as well. So here's the thing. One of the first things that needs to be said, and I know I've said it so many times on this channel, but hey, repetition is the mother of learning. And so I'm going to repeat it here again because I know it is necessary to say. I think part of the reason why so many of you are not feeling like you're as impactful as you can be is because you're still thinking and operating and moving as an individual contributor, trying to do everything on your own. You see, when you're an individual contributor, you are working with your own skills and talents that you have acquired throughout your life within the context of your experience. And because of the fact that you are such an action taker, like you're just such a proactive person in doing all the things that you do, you've been able to excel, which has made you an A team player, which clearly your superiors saw and they were like, that one right there, that's the person that needs to be the manager of this team. But the problem is when you don't have any experience as a manager and you don't have the skill sets, it leads to this really difficult scenario. So if you've been with me for any amount of time, then I'm pretty sure you've heard me say that in my life, in my career, I have been blessed with two incredible mentors. And one of them used to actually be a colonel in the US Air Force. And so he's actually still a huge part of my development down to this day. And a lot of his analogies actually, when I think about it, have to do with flying, which makes sense. And so the other day, he and I were talking about this very topic, right? We were talking about a lot of managers still operating and thinking as an individual contributor. And he says, you know what this reminds me of? And I was like, oh no, here comes another flying analogy. And he was like, no, just hear me out. He says, it's a lot like driving a car. Right? When you learn to drive a car, as the years go on, right, from the time that you get your license, you get used to the lay of the land, like driving, right? You know what a stop sign is. You understand the rules of the road really, really well, till you get to a point where you feel like an experienced driver. And he's like, it's almost like taking someone who's an experienced driver and telling them, okay, here's a plane, fly this plane. And while that person can take some of the concepts from driving and apply it to flying a plane, it's obviously going to be different because it's a completely different atmosphere. And that person is going to continue to be ineffective trying to fly this plane unless they realize, I'm now trying to fly a plane. I better up level and get the right skill sets that I need so that I can actually fly this plane. So that's what he was telling me. He was kind of like, that switch between individual contributor and manager is a lot, like it's really similar. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's right. It's really like me trying to take like my experience of driving a car and trying to, fly a plane. It would be pretty ridiculous. So for a lot of you that are feeling this kind of unease and discomfort in your role, it's because you're taking like the experience and skill sets that you have as an individual contributor and you're trying to apply it to a brand new world. The truth is, people management is complex, right? It's really hard trying to balance the organizational's objectives with the emotional and psychological needs of your team. It's a lot. And it cannot be solved by, just generalized tips and tricks off the internet or even academic fluff, right? It requires guidance and experience to see you through those things. Now, I know that a lot of you are trying really, really hard to try and build your individual skills, right? I know a lot of you have taken time management courses and you've taken delegation courses. In fact, if I had a penny for how many of you have reached out to me to ask me if I have just a straight up delegation course, well, I would have a lot of pennies. But the point is, I know that a lot of you are doing everything that you can. You know, you've taken 30-day boot camps, you've done like all access digital training on teaching you how to become a manager, you've done one-day workshops. And I got to tell you, the reason why it's not working is because you have no guidance and you're not getting any direction. And honestly, sometimes I kind of chuckle to myself about what's out there for y'all because they make it seem as though you, a brand new manager without any experience, that you're going to be able to take all this knowledge and apply it without any sort of direction or guidance in doing so. Make it make sense, please. You know, that's exactly why a lot of people come out of college and then turn around and get into internships. It's because they need to get on the job training or experience before they jump into the role, right? It's something completely different from knowing. I always tell my students, you know, there's a difference between knowledge and knowing something, right? There is a huge difference. And the difference always stems in real life experience. And since you don't have the luxury of trial and erroring on people's lives or in your career, you need to leverage somebody else's experience. That is the difference, and that is the key to your success. You know, one of the reasons why I have the accelerator set up the way it is because I believe that you need guided assistance. I believe that you need mentorship throughout this. I do not want to leave anybody out on their own still trying to figure it out. What's the point? What is the point of still trying to figure it out if you are joining something where they're supposed to be helping you through it? You know what I mean? I believe in focusing on a few critical micro habits that changes the way you do things so that you change the results you get, right? And I believe in guiding and mentoring you through it, not just throwing a bunch of information at you and saying, figure it out yourself. I mean, that is, you could just be on YouTube for that, you know? And so if you are at that point now, my friend, where you are done with your winging it, you're done with your crash course in winging it, then definitely book a call with me using the link in the description below so you can learn more about the accelerator program and to see if you would be a fit, okay? Because I would love nothing more to talk to you. All right, that is pretty much it for me. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other insights and tidbits that I share on this platform every single week. It's always fantastic to be with you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Please do not forget to keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.